Hi everyone, this is just a quick spoiler-free review going through Listen to Me by Tess Gerriston. Now, this is a very new novel. It's been greatly anticipated, so I was really looking forward to this one, and it was a real fantastic read. For an overview, this is the latest Rizzoli and Isles novel, follows on from the last one in the series that was Die Again, that was published in 2014, so it's quite a long wait between novels. The novel has been greatly anticipated by fans, and Gerriston uses her vast knowledge of the medical industry to engage readers in another gripping instalment from the series. The novel explores a secondary character of Angela, and this is actually something that's quite different from some of the other novels that have only had small insights into this character. Through this novel, Rizzoli's mother uncovers some sinister secrets within her neighbourhood, and we get to understand the role of, should we say, a middle-aged woman and how it's viewed in society, and potentially as well the lack of respect that is often given to them given their age or their status. Character development. So character development is one of the biggest things that you'll notice within this novel. Um, and that is of course with Angela Rizzoli, who is Rizzoli's mother. If we look at the other novels, when this character has been presented, she was seen to be as the typical housewife. She had quite a controlling husband, a husband that didn't really care about her, and just saw as that typical role of a housewife, someone that was there to cook and to clean and to care for her family. She seemed quite unhappy. Again, her relationship wasn't good and it was actually falling apart, and actually split up with her husband in one of the previous novels, and she kind of lacked that self-esteem. Now, she's a secondary character. She's perhaps seen as quite one-dimensional. Again, she fits into very much that stereotypical role of a mother and a housewife, and one that hasn't really been able to spread her wings and explore her character in as much depth as most people would have liked. Now, in this novel, however, this is probably the biggest difference within the whole Rizzoli and Isles series. In Listen to Me, Angela has transformed. She's more assertive. She's in a much healthier relationship. She's happy. She has a good relationship with her neighbours, well, most of them, and is seen as a beacon of the community. In addition, she's also stronger, and she's transforming into someone who isn't afraid to stand up for herself. Now, while this is something that was quite an interesting thing to get a view of, it was something I was a little bit disappointed in. It wasn't a character that I particularly wanted to hear from that much. I really wanted to get more into the crime, thriller drama, and I didn't feel that that kind of motherly voice kind of helped to get it come across, unfortunately. So criticism. What would have made the book more enjoyable? So one of the great things about this writer is that she's actually lived and experienced um, a life within the medical industry, so she has a lot of in-depth knowledge. One of the main rules within writing is write what you know, and the fact that she has all this great, amazing, in-depth knowledge is something that she's helped employ to a lot of the other novels to really help them come alive and to really help us to understand what it is like from a medical point of view. The only issue with this one, however, is that because it was quite a short book, it was only around 300 pages long, and there was many different characters coming into it, we didn't really get a good insight into the actual medical profession. There's a few insights about, DNA and blood and things like that, but that's something that really anyone would be able to tell us about, not really someone who has that great, amazing knowledge that the writer has at her disposal. Predictable plot. Now, if you are into the crime or the thriller genre, then you will know that all of these books, they'll follow typical kind of conventions. However, some of the things that was put in here was a little bit too obvious. There wasn't really many red herrings to lead us astray, and it's just a little bit too obvious. There's also moments of action and of real good intense moments where there could be some real violence or interesting moments that happen within the novel, but they get resolved way too quickly. The action just doesn't sustain. It's very kind of hear one moment and then resolve the next, and it doesn't really give you any sense of thrill, danger or risk when you're reading this novel. Final verdict. Is the novel worth reading? Well, unfortunately for this novel, I only gave it 3 stars out of 5, and the reason is because it was something that was really greatly anticipated. It's been a long time since we've had an actual follow-up novel for the Rizzoli and Isles thrillers, and it was nostalgic. You know, it was nice to see the characters again and to get back into that world that she has created. However, the growth of the secondary character seemed to be quite dominating, so it was very much more about the mother and her development, whereas Rizzoli and Isles, we did see them a little bit, but we didn't really get a chance to know them or really explore their characters that much. So for example, if you're going to be someone who's picking up this novel for the first time and you haven't explored some of the other books, then it's going to be a little bit confusing, because it does change through a lot of different characters as the novel progresses, and for such a short novel, only 300 pages, it doesn't really give us that time to build a relationship with the characters. Her writing style, however, is consistent. She is actually a fantastic writer, and that is shown with the consistency with the rest of the novels, but it doesn't really challenge the imagination of the reader. A lot of the descriptions that are being used are very basic, very ordinary, and again feeding into the kind of cliche that we'd expect in a kind of crime or thriller novel. The book just feels a little bit too busy. Swapping from character to character was something that I could have done without personally. I like to actually get to know the characters a bit more, to actually care about them and be invested in them, and it just didn't really pan out for me. It was a nice little instalment, but by no means is it going to be something that I'd consider one of Tess Gerriston's finer pieces of work. That being said, however, if you're thinking about another book in the series, now there are a lot of different books within the series that I would highly recommend. For example, The Surgeon, which is actually the first one in the Rizzoli and Isles series, is a fantastic book to read, and it's one where we really get to see the full depth and the skill of the writer. And one of the good things about that is that you get to develop the characters, you get to understand them from the start. So again, there's no better place to start with that one, and a lot of the characters actually remain until the second one as well, which is The Apprentice as well. My personal favourite is The Killing Place. So it brings in some real important themes that are quite integral to society and things like that, and it actually uses a lot of that medical knowledge, which is really good to see. And then Die Again is a very interesting one that will really captivate you and keep you kind of engaged throughout the whole of the novel. Again, this is a fantastic series to get into. I just didn't feel like Listen to Me was the best one that she's produced, and it might be that it's just that it's been a while since she's been writing, or it might be that she's a while since she's actually got into this kind of world that she's created and the characters, but it felt a little bit plain, a little bit dull in places. If you'd like to have any more reviews, or if you'd like any kind of resources in terms of helping you develop your English or any other area of learning, then please do check out our channel. Also, you can check out our partner channel, Bookworm Teaching, for more lessons and guidance on all things English. Thanks for listening, guys, and best of luck with all your reading and your learning in the future. Bye.